Hi children, in the third video we will deal with the other two interactions, namely predation and parasitism. In these two interactions, predation and parasitism, one species is benefited while the other species is harmed. So, it is indicated by the sign negative. So, let us analyze each. Predation. What is predation? Predation is an interspecific interaction in which one species is benefited while the other species is harmed. The predator is benefited. So, this is a very common example, tiger, deer. Tiger capturing and killing the deer. So, the tiger is the predator and the deer is the prey. And definitely you know that the tiger is benefited and the deer is harmed, so it is indicated by negative sign. It's a very common example you can quote, the tiger-deer relationship. The tiger captures and kills the deer. So, the tiger is a predator and so it is positive, and the deer, which is a prey, is indicated by negative sign because it is being harmed. Now, we know that the deer eats the grass. Even herbivory is a form of predation. It's not like carnivory is predation. All we have the concept is predation means carnivores. Not only that, even the deer eating grass is a form of predation. Now let's see the role of predators in the ecosystem or the advantages of predation in the ecosystem. First, from the very first picture or first example, the first role you can understand of the predators is that it serves as conduits for energy transfer. So, serves as conduits for energy transfer. This is what we have learnt in the lower class, the food chain. If I complete the food chain, it starts with the grass. The grass is eaten by the deer is eaten by the tiger, and we have learned this as a food chain. And we know in this food chain, food is being transferred from one organism to the other organism, or energy is transferred by the process of eating and being eaten. So, the first and foremost advantage of predation is that it serves as conduits for energy transfer. It's very, very integral part of the food chain for the transfer of energy. So, that's the first role of predators in the ecosystem. The second role, with the help of the second example, I'll give you the advantage of predation. In 1920s, the early 1920s, prickly pear cactus was introduced into Australia for the beautiful flowers it bear. But what happened? It became so invasive, it created a havoc. It spread and multiplied and invaded hectares of land. It spread into millions and millions of hectares of land, and this created a havoc. They wanted to bring this population under control. So, for that they introduced moth from its natural habitat into Australia. And what happened? The moth started feeding on the cactus and the population was brought under control. So, from this what you can infer, predation helps in bringing the population of the prey under control. So, it controls the prey population. Predators controls the prey population. The prey population is brought under control because of predators. Now, with the third illustration, I will give you the third advantage or role of predation in the ecosystem. This represents the rocky intertidal American Pacific coast, where there were many starfishes which were the main predators of a number of invertebrates. So in this intertidal coast of the Pacific, of American Pacific coast, there were a lot of starfishes which were the main or important predator of a number of invertebrates. See, I have shown you with 3 starfish and their predator and their prey, a number of preys. These are the different varieties of prey they fed on. Now what was done is a small enclosed area of this intertidal area was selected, and in that area all the starfishes were removed. So I am removing all the starfishes. All the starfishes were removed, and this particular intertidal enclosed area was under observation. What happened is that within a year, nearly 10 species, you not believe it, 10 species of invertebrates became extinct. They disappeared and became extinct. What must have been the cause? The reason was that there was intense interspecific competition. Why was this competition between the prey intensified? Because the predator, the starfish disaster was absent. If at all the starfish or this disaster was present, the starfish was present, what would have happened? The intensity of the competition would have decreased. So what will be the third role of predation? Maintains. Predation helps to maintain species diversity. How? By reducing the intensity of competition between the prey species. So with these 3 illustrations, I have given the role of predators in the ecosystem. It's a very, very important question. The role, ecological role of predators in the ecosystem. 1, it serves, predator serves as conduits for energy transfer. You are supporting with this example, tiger eating the deer. It serves as a conduit for the transfer of energy. Second, predators helps to control the prey population. A very good example is that of Australia, where the prickly pear cactus was introduced, and to bring down the population, moth from its natural habitat was introduced, and what happened? The population of the cactus was brought under control. So second role is to control the prey population, and the third role of the predators is it maintains species diversity by reducing the intensity of competition between the prey species. A very good example is that of the rocky intertidal American Pacific coast, where the main predator was the disaster or the starfish. It was experimentally removed. So they had to take a very small enclosed area. It was experimentally removed. All the starfish were removed and was observed, and it was found that within a year, nearly 10 species of the invertebrates became extinct. So this indicates that predation is very important to maintain the species diversity, so that the competition between the invertebrates decreases. I hope you have understood the 3 functions, advantages of predation in the ecosystem. Now, as I told you, both animals and plants are equipped with strategies to reduce predation. Animals are being predated, and in plants, as I told you, herbivory is also a form of predation. So plants also are equipped with strategies to defend themselves against predation. Let's analyze the strategies opted in animals to reduce predation. Look at this case. Can you identify a praying mantis on the leaf lamina? Very difficult to identify. Similarly, it will be very difficult for its predator, the bird, to identify this insect among the background of green foliage or green leaves. So this is an example of camouflage, where the insect, it can be frog or any animal, camouflage with its background so that its predator cannot easily identify it and pick it. This is a very good example. a defense strategy seen in animals. Camouflage. 1. Second defense strategy is poisonous chemicals are produced by certain animals so that they are not eaten by their predator. A very good example is the monarch butterfly. See, the monarch butterfly, it has incorporated into its body a lot of poisonous substance. This was acquired during its larval stage. It used to feed on poisonous weeds, and that got incorporated into its wings and different body parts, and therefore it has become distasteful, and the predators do not dare to eat the monarch butterfly. So, two important defense strategies opted by animals. 1. Camouflage, matching with its background. A very good example is the praying mantis camouflaging with the leaves, or stick insect camouflaging with the sticks or dry foliage, and poisonous chemicals secreted by certain insects which puts away the predator. So, these are two defense strategies seen in animals. Now, in plants. Plants, as I told, I am reiterating, herbivory is also a form of predation. So, plants have developed or are equipped with certain strategies to reduce predation. One, we are very aware, thorns, spines, etc. Right from lower classes we have learnt about spines and thorns to prevent grazing or browsing. Okay, see the cactus having the spines, bougainvillea with thorns. So, this prevents animals from browsing or grazing them. Another strategy they have opted is to produce certain poisonous chemicals. It includes quinine, theine, caffeine, opium, etc., which makes the predator, if at all they browse on these, it makes the predator sick. These chemicals disrupt the reproductive potential of these animals, inhibit their feeding or digestion, and even kill these predators. So, the predators do not browse on these plants. A very good example where you see calotropis growing, you can see wherever you see calotropis, it grows luxuriously. Even in an abandoned field, it grows healthily without any care. Why? It is not being browsed by any animals. The latex produced by this calotropis contains a chemical called cardiac glycosides, which affects the heart of the predators. So, the predators do not browse these calotropis, and therefore, the calotropis can endure and grow very well in any area. I hope you have understood predation. The first three pictures depicts illustrations to give the importance of predation in the ecosystem, and the lower three pictures gives the defense strategies opted by animals, mainly the two defense strategies, camouflage, chemicals, and the defense strategies opted by plants, again chemicals and morphological adaptation like spines, thorns, etc. I hope you have understood predation. Next, moving on to parasitism. Here also it is a plus minus interaction. It is an interspecific interaction where one species is benefited. The species that is benefited is the parasite, and the species that is harmed is the host. Now, usually parasites are having adaptations to survive in the host or on the host. They are well adapted. So, they adaptive strategies. 1, they have adhesives or suckers to cling onto the host. Then, second, they have lost the digestive system. They do not have an elaborate digestive system. 3, unnecessary sense organs are also lost. They need not have unnecessary tentacles or antennae or compound eyes or eyes, etc. These all are reduced or lost. 4, their reproductive potential is very high. Potential or capacity is high. And lastly, very important, their life cycle is very complex, involving intermediate host, at least 2 hosts. So, once again, parasitism, the parasites are equipped with a number of parasitic adaptations to enable them to live in the host or on the host. If it lives inside the host, it's called endoparasite, and if it lives on the host, it's called ectoparasites. So they have some strategies to survive. One, adhesives or suckers to cling onto the host. 2, digestive system is absent. 3, sense organs are all absent. 4, the reproductive potential is very, very high. That is, they produce a large number of eggs in one breeding. And 5, the life cycle is very, very complex, involving intermediate host, at least 2 hosts. In this context, we have 2 examples. Plasmodium vivax is a parasite which causes malaria. The 2 hosts are man and mosquito. Then liver fluke. The picture above is indicating liver fluke. The 2 hosts are snail and fish. So as I told you, they have a very complicated life cycle involving at least 2 hosts. So now we are going to look into ectoparasites and endoparasites. Ectoparasites, 1, lies on the head of man. See, you can see lies on the head of man. It's an ectoparasite. Second, tick on the body of dogs. See, you can see some ticks here and there near the eye. It is an ectoparasite. Then, 2 examples of endoparasites. 1, we have the liver fluke. See, this is the liver fluke inside the liver of a cow or human being. Second example, we have Plasmodium vivax found inside the RBC of man. See, this is a Plasmodium vivax which is indicated with blue or violet color is the Plasmodium vivax. We know which stage it enters, the sporozoite stage, which is spindle in shape and wriggly. It has invaded the RBCs. So 2 examples of endoparasite, liver fluke in the liver of man and Plasmodium vivax which stays the sporozoite stage in the RBCs. So 2 ectoparasites and 2 endoparasites as examples. Now we have a plant parasite. Look at this picture. This is a plant parasite. The parasite can be easily identified because it's yellow in color, and this is the cuscuta. It is a plant parasite which lives on the host like tall trees, etc. And this parasite has lost leaves and has also lost chlorophyll. So it derives all the nourishment from the host. It has stealing roots which steals the nutrients from the host tree. Clear? So this is easily identified because it's yellow in color. Cuscuta on trees is a good example of plant parasite. Now in parasitism, I am winding up with a very fascinating example, brood parasitism. You must have observed the quail and the crow association. The quail is famous for its voice, but it's also famous for something else. It's a lazy bird. It does not build a nest of its own. When it's time to lay eggs, it lays its egg in the nest of a crow, and it drops its egg and leave the place. And the crow will hatch the eggs and nurture the young ones, misunderstanding that the egg that is the foreign egg is its own. Now how did the crow, or why is this so successful? Why didn't the crow identify this as a foreign or stranger's egg? The reason is that this egg is very much identical to the egg of the crow. It's identical in shape, size and color. So here you can see not only brood parasitism, we can see something operating in nature, which is very, very important. Co-evolution is operating here. Co-evolution means during the course of evolution, if any changes occurs in the egg of the crow or the egg of the host, corresponding changes occur in the egg of the parasite, that is in the egg of the quail. If not, what would have happened? The crow would have identified that it's a foreign egg and would have ejected it out from the nest. Now I've put the picture of the crow's egg. See, what is in bluish color is indicating the crow's egg, but you can see this is standing out because it looks different. So here, did co-evolution work? No, it did not work. So now the crow will identify this is a foreign egg or it's not its own egg, and it will eject this out. But this is not the case that is happening. Till today, brood parasitism is successful. Why it is successful? Because of co-evolution. All the eggs resembles, that is all the eggs of the quail so far has resembled a crow. There's not been any change that has happened. If at all a change happened in the quail's egg, corresponding changes occurred in the crow's egg. This guarantees brood parasitism. So coevolution, the significance of coevolution, it guarantees or it ensures parasitism. Because of coevolution, parasitism, brood parasitism has occurred, and it is still occurring and it has been successful. Again, don't know, during the course of evolution, if suppose corresponding changes does not occur, then the crow would have understood and this would have not happened. It would have not been successful. But till today, it is successful because of coevolution. Whatever changes has occurred in the host, corresponding changes occurred in the parasite's egg. Therefore, the host till today is being cheated. The crow till today is being cheated. It has not realized that it is hatching and nurturing a stranger's egg. But once the egg hatches and the crow feeds the young ones, once it flies, it moves out, and the crow it is still unrevealed as a mystery for the crow. So brood parasitism is a very good example of parasitism and a very good example to support coevolution. I am reiterating coevolution. What is coevolution? In the course of evolution, any changes occurring in one species, corresponding changes will occur in the other species to guarantee the interaction. Here the interaction is brood parasitism. And here, which is the feature? The egg. The size, shape and coloration of the egg is very much similar to that of the crows. The quail's egg and the crow's eggs are very much identical. So the crow is being cheated, and this brood parasitism is 100% successful. I hope you have understood parasitism also. Thank you.